Howdy, Joe here. Uh, and I'm going to be talking about Vancouver, Granville Island, and city planning kind of things. Um, one of the people I learned of in university was Jane Jacobs. Uh, how cities work and what makes the human hive functional, enjoyable, and thriving. She she wasn't so much an engineer as a mom or a gardener of people. And she's always been one of my heroes and illuminated how many options there can be. Anyways, as an exercise of a Jane Jacobs student, um, I'm gonna queue up two videos in advance of this if you'd like to maybe do a look around. One of them is about Granville Island and how it's changing and what it needs and some of its problems and that sort of thing. Uh, the other video that I'm going to flag is about a different part of Vancouver, um, SFU, Simon Fraser University. Um, it's at the top of the mountain that's 300 kilometer, 300 meters, more than, about a third of a kilometer high. In other words, it's a big hill to climb and it's a lot of work and it, it's sometimes subject to difficulties due to high snow levels. And mentioning city living, you may have noticed that siren in the background. Yeah. Um, I live on Main Street. Uh, anyways, the thing about SFU, they've been talking about transit alternatives to get up to the top of Burnaby Mountain and the advocate for a tram, um, kind of a sky ride, uh, a gondola, um, a variation, and that it would be faster, cheaper, and more beautiful than a regular bus route. It's just that it would be unusual and would crest up over parts of the forest. So parts of it would be quite high. But also to an SFU student and alumni graduate, um, one of the points of frustration about that particular Acropolis um, is that it's surrounded by forest and there are very few locations on the campus that provide a panorama view. And putting in a tram, the view would come with the transit, and that appetite could be not only fully filled, but maybe developed on afterwards. Anyway, so I really like the gondola tram idea for SFU. And in contemplating the problems around Granville Island, it seemed to me an alternate transit route to and from uh, might be worth exploring. And the tram, you ever notice that other cities put up Ferris wheels as a thing for tourists to do? Maybe have a look at the city. Well, a tram can do that too, and it can fit to the route we set. And um, crossing from Granville Island to the downtown across False Creek, uh, the Granville Island Bridge is actually quite a striking presence over the whole island. And having the tram go up into the underside of the bridge and through the girders over to the North Shore of the creek. And you might have noticed I'm in a wheelchair. I'd really like for something like that to be wheelchair accessible. And the bike and the scooter people on the seawall can use it for a shortcut too. And that'd be really nifty. So just doing that from the island itself across to the North Shore, that's just the first step. The next step is kind of obvious because I was exploring the neighborhood last week and there's going to be a new SkyTrain station opening up the hill at Main or Granville and Broadway. And to have the tram connect up the hill to the nearest transit station means that tourists could do a day trip journey and not have to worry about renting a car or parking or any of that at all. Just go out, do some exploring and have a lark. And considering how difficult driving in and around Granville Island is, putting in something that makes it easier to prioritize people over cars would change the island. Um, okay, so tram under the bridge for both shores, then tram south to the new SkyTrain station at Broadway. And then what? Maybe continue the tram north. Um, not just for things for tourists to see and do, but useful connections like to two other SkyTrain platforms and not just Waterfront Station and the Sea Bus and the West Coast Express, but the aqua the air the waterplane airport. Geez. And whale watches and water taxis and so many other things would be possibilities. And to add on to that, um, including things like Theater Row and the Commodore Ballroom, a station for the tram at the Commodore, uh, and maybe booking in a round of you remember the Dogwood drag shows? Like, and the best dance floor among one of the best dance floors on the West Coast and underutilized. So, all of this is just a suggestion for a Granville Tram. Granville Tram. And a slogan or something to notice maybe is Granville, a sweet way of saying great town. A sweet way of saying great town. Anyway, I thought you might like some ideas to play with. And if you got something to say around all that, then feel free. You've got several ways to talk too. Just can we talk means I got to be able to put something up for something to others to respond to. So, um, and hey, my studio is a tad amateurish, but sunlight's glorious, ain't it? Anyways, wrapping this for now. I can dress it up a bit fancier later on, but the simplicity of the idea, um, can wrap in a few minutes. There we be. Thank you. Bye.